Good evening, everybody. Rob here on this 5th of September. It's a Sunday out here in Japan, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know back in the States it's right around midnight when I'm doing this update here. A few things going on out here in the Western Pacific. Mainly, the big thing is Tropical Storm 10 Whiskey here, actually moving to the northwest and eventually going to be recurving over the Korean Peninsula today, past Okinawa yesterday during the day. And also, mainly, the high pressure is dominating much of actually Honshu and most of the Western Pacific. That's actually suppressing a lot of stuff down here, a lot of systems and such. So, good news, especially at the height of the tropical season, and we haven't really gotten much of a break here recently. So, overall, very, very good news. Also, you can see on here the remnants of 08 whiskey moving off here, going to be affecting Alaska here in the next couple days. So, yeah, shows how weather over here can even affect weather back here in the States. So, first and foremost, going to start looking at here at 10 whiskey and where that's going and what's going on with it. I know the track's been a little confusing, especially for you guys in Okinawa, not really sure what's going on here with this storm. But good thing with you guys, though, it's moving away, and Korea is going to be affected next. But we're going to break this thing down and show what's actually going on with it. Now that we've zoomed in a little bit on this satellite loop, you can actually see a little bit of convection blowing up here in the last several hours. It's actually gotten a little organized as it's moved over to East China Sea. Few reasons for that. It's moved away from this area of convection to the south, which was actually inhibiting it a lot and making a lot of shear to the southern end of it. Also, the other thing is moving over a little warmer surface temperatures. I know that's kind of contradicting as it's moving north, but actually it is a little warm up here. The waters are a little shallower, and also over this entire region right in here where it was earlier, there was a lot of upwelling from 08 whiskey. It's actually the temperatures of the ocean temperature about 10 cooler than where it would be elsewhere if 08 whiskey never actually went through. The other thing I do want to note here is see this little boundary right here over the Korean Peninsula. This is what's going to be the acting driving force over the next 24 to 48 hours with 10 whiskey as it tries to move to the northeast here. It's going to run into this basically like a wall and just shift straight off to the northeast and actually speed up rather fast and dissipate while that's happening as well. I don't really expect a great transition to extratropical with the storm. More or less, I'm expecting this just to dissipate over the Sea of Japan rather quickly. Alright, now here's a tool I thinking about using here. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, also let me know that. But it's just Google Earth with overlays on it, and I didn't realize the vast amount of tools you can actually use with Google Earth. So I'm gonna try to work with it here. So deal with me. First time I'm actually using it on this. So let's get right into it though. First and foremost, I do know that everybody is looking at this jog on the track right here of the 10 whiskey, and overall it's just all over the place. Actually, just south of Okinawa is where it did this jog on the track, and I know a lot of people in Okinawa kind of got exceptionally nervous associated with that because it supposedly just jetted straight to the north, straight towards you guys. But trust me that there was no landfall. If you're actually there in Okinawa, you know that the storm really wasn't that strong. Kadena Air Base only reported a max right around 30 knots out of there. Overall, the storm was not that strong there in Okinawa. So, why the big jog and trek? Mainly, the big reason why I think this has happened here is the storm was very, very disorganized right in this time period. It lost a lot of its steering support, and overall, it was dry air intrusion throughout the center of the system. Very, very even hard to tell exactly where the center of the system was. Then, a little invest area popped up here just to the east of Taiwan and started to merge with the storm. So, overall, that became one big system, and I think JMA and JTWC both kind of confused the center location. They put it in the middle of these two systems, then ended up putting it up here and eventually farther north as the system eventually started to move north. That is where we are with this system currently. The good news is steering support is going to start setting back in as the system starts to move in up and towards Korea. That trough's going to be digging up there, so that's definitely going to be the driving factor as it moves over near south of Seoul. So let's put the satellite picture back on here and show exactly where the storm is currently. It'll load up here a second. And now here it is. It's still showing that big area convection near the center. It's moving away from this area to the south. Now there is no invest on these areas down here. That's the good news. Not really too much organized in there. A lot of shear. So as this system starts to move north, you see this already trough building in up here. So this system's definitely going to start to recurve to the north and northeast. Another thing I want to kind of look at is some of the weather around the local area. This is one reason why I do like this tool. You can actually zoom in on some of the forecasts and such for many of these areas. So let's look up in here. Like right where I'm currently up in just outside of Yokohama, temperatures are around 93, very warm. Cooler actually farther south near Kadena. I'm gonna take off the satellite picture here now so we can see some of this. Right, in Okinawa, 77 temperatures. A lot more maritime atmosphere down there. Plus, they just got basically caught off by a nice little tropical storm there. Same thing up in farther north, even warmer up near in Kyushu here. Temperatures are 90, poles up in the high 80s. And farther south, if we go down here towards Manila, temperature is still in the 90s down there. That's typical year-round, especially during the summer, though. Not really too much fluctuation in temperatures down there, as you guys know. All right, now shifting gears a little, I want to talk about the other big event going on out here outside of the tropical storm, and that is the earthquake that actually happened here recently down here in New Zealand. We're going to zoom down here, let this load up here a second. And here we go, looking at this right now. 7.0 earthquake actually happened just out of Christchurch, New Zealand. A lot of damage associated with that. Good news is there hasn't been any reports of death, so that's exceptionally good news, especially with such a large earthquake over an area that doesn't get hit by them very often. I think that's the biggest problem with this earthquake, though. There was a lot of brick buildings and such, a lot of structures that just do not know how to handle these types of earthquakes. I know in California and even up here in Japan, you get a 7.0, and people kind of shrug it off, thinking, yeah, well, it wasn't really that bad. That's because it's used to here. If everybody's used to it, you don't have any many brick buildings here in Tokyo and such, and even out in California. So that's the big situation here. Here's some pictures from CNN, just showing some damage out of here, and a lot of it, like I was already stating here, is due to the brick damaging. A lot of surface cracks as well. That's indicative of a shallow earthquake as well. You see these surface cracks. So the earthquake was only right around 3 miles deep, thus contributing to the vast amount of damage. The deeper an earthquake, the more likely it's not going to be as significant. So here, even another building, mainly made out of bricks here in New Zealand, and this picture is one of those pictures that you definitely you grasp the whole situation. Now, thank God, no deaths or anything like that. Only some injuries and only a few significant injuries. So overall, very good news, I guess, if you're going to take the best news out of this situation, even despite all damage, is that there was no deaths. Okay, well, that's all for today. Like I already said, let me know how you think about this Google Earth tool, and I'll try to incorporate more into these videos. But for everybody up there in Korea, Okinawa, and rest of Japan, stay safe, stay dry, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.